AskReddit by choice inflation 7295. What's the laziest easiest way you've lost weight? Stop drinking soda. Only been about 5-6 months, but none of my pants stay on anymore without a belt. I'll just add, stop drinking sugars. A Gatorade a few times a day is pretty much the same thing as drinking a Coke. Got Invisalign. I stopped snacking throughout the day because I was too lazy to take the retainers out. This didn't work so well for me. I still wanted to eat, so then I would just have to brush my teeth and floss multiple times a day. The dentist said my gums are super healthy though, so that's a plus. VR games. I bought my kids Quest headsets for Christmas and accidentally lost 10 pounds playing when the kids were asleep. Got myself one and lost another 30 pounds playing Beat Saber. Beat Saber is such a good game. Makes me miss the days of Dance Revolution. Stopped drinking beer last summer. Lost 15 pounds in 6 weeks. Started drinking again in the fall. Gained it all back. I lost 60 plus pounds in college. I did it while balancing the peak of my drinking career. The secret is giving up food in place of alcohol. Or eating really dense low calorie foods to save the rest on drinks. My Friday diet would be grilled chicken, steamed vegetables, and vodka. It's all just a game of calories in vs calories out. My wife died on Easter Sunday. We were together over 20 years. I have lost 70 pounds in the 2 months since. Last week alone I lost 13. I probably also lost a fair amount prior while sleeping in the ICU as we failed at each step to make it to chemo. My doctor says my weight loss is okay, as a temporary thing, but wants me to try to stay above 500 calories a day and not pass out. Mostly I live on the cream in my morning coffee. I do not recommend this method. Also, as she had a heck of a dark sense of humor, I'll point out that she lost even more weight than I have via cremation. Although it was mostly water weight. Super easy on her part, she even got a nice ride there and back. Sending love, friend. Your loss is significant and difficult. Please find your solace when it is good for you to do such. Unsubscribing my DoorDash membership. Plus you probably saved a lot of money, those deliveries are freaking expensive. Sometimes I'm too lazy to make dinner and just have sleep instead. In a similar fashion, I lost a lot of weight freshman year of college because I was too lazy to walk to the dining hall to eat. Salmonella. I lost 6.5 kilograms in 7 days. So you're saying you lost weight by eating? Takes notes. Stop drinking sodas. Dumping soda is the easiest, laziest thing to do for sure. It takes no physical effort and it also expands your bank account. Intermittent poverty is good and experiencing a major depressive episode are my go-to FWIW. Yeah, I was at my thinnest when I was so broke I ate leftover avocados from my job at Panera because we were required to throw them all out at the end of my closing shift. So I ate mainly that or a potato. Every now and then a veggie sandwich from Jimmy John's. Then I got a side gig at Panera to put away massive delivery orders after store hours, which involved organizing and putting away several pound boxes of frozen soup. My arms look so good and my friend called me Laura Croft when I wore a tank top once lol, but at the time I still had body image issues and didn't get the enjoy myself when I looked my best. At the same time, my diet was definitely unhealthy and I felt weak most days. Go out to buy groceries on a full stomach. Your cravings to buy unhealthy random food should go down a bit. I can't shop on a full stomach because I think I'll never be hungry again. Then there's nothing in the fridge when the inevitable happens. I had a migraine that lasted 5 days. Just drinking water made me nauseous, so eating was a no-go. After 5 days of not eating and barely drinking, I had dropped 10 pounds. I'm sure most of it was due to dehydration, but the fact remains that I dropped weight. As a bonus, I'd been wanting to quit smoking, and the migraine was so bad that I couldn't even think about having a cigarette. Once the pain was gone, I realized that I hadn't smoked in 5 days and I should be past the worst of the cravings, so I decided to see how long I could stay quit. It's been well over 19 years, and I never did restart that habit. Congrats on quitting smoking. That's fabulous. So glad you didn't restart. My wife died. Sadness and depression made me lose my appetite. Wouldn't have mattered anyway because the best cook I've ever known was gone. Sorry for your loss. Walk whenever possible. Really, moving to a big city from the suburbs was it for me. Cancer, chemotherapy, then a heart attack. Lost 90 pounds. I do not recommend it. I gained weight during chemo. Thank you, dexamethasone. Go through a breakup. Yep. I was at 165 pounds and got down to 119 in 5 months. Do not recommend. Everyone thought I was on drugs. Nope, just that sweet depression, baby. Rave scene. Ecstasy and LSD don't really mix with food. Dancing for like 5 hours helps too. Too lazy to make lunch, too lazy to buy food, so I just waited until I got home from work to eat. Accidental intermittent fasting. Hard drugs and severe depression really did the trick for me. I was gonna say, cocaine doesn't need commercials. Know why? Neither do Ferraris. I was a fatty in middle school, had a lazy summer after 8th grade playing video games, guess I forgot to eat, came back for 9th grade and everyone was like, how'd you get so skinny? Honestly thought I was still fat, didn't even realize I lost all that weight lol. That was my 8th grade summer, too. New MMO, I got addicted to always forgetting to eat. Lost all that baby fat and started high school very slim. Salmonella poisoning. Not intentional of course, but I lost 20 pounds in 6 days. I had a 2-night hospital stay and I begged for death. Even when I was released, I couldn't stomach the idea of food, and for an extra week all I could eat was plain toast, white rice, and water. 0/10 do not recommend. See, I did similar, 26 pounds in 10 days. Tainted water in Morocco. C. diff, 3 strains of E. coli, and Shingilla. My still is folk legend at the DR's office. Super easy to stop eating when you no longer want to anger the upside down volcano. I stopped eating before bed. So now you only eat in bed? By not eating. Well, you can't argue with results, or your growling stomach. Find an active hobby you don't hate. I started rock climbing. It burns a ton of calories and damp. I can stay 4 hours. I go twice a week now. I started climbing about a year ago. I love it. My issue is that my arms get tired out before the rest of me does, even now that I have better technique and even if I take breaks between climbs. Wish I would have started the hobby when I was still young. This isn't quite as lazy as others and slightly more positive, but once I decided it was okay for me to smoke weed and watch TV while I worked out, it suddenly became much easier to convince myself to work out. Same. But I prefer running, so I usually use edibles to avoid the lung problems. I started sober and got to where I was maxing out at about 5 miles at a 7 miles per hour pace before having to stop. Started taking deca doses before and I almost immediately could easily pull off 10 miles at 7 miles per hour. It's now my regular pre-workout. Works like a charm. Just walk. Started riding the elevator up to class in college and walking down the stairs to my next class. Wasn't long before I found walking to class easier and started walking upstairs too. Total game changer. No intense cardio, or crazy pills or radical surgery. Just 2 legs and places to be. Oh, and cutting back on processed foods too. So much better tasting and weirdly cheaper. It's crazy how much stairs and elevation is way more work than flat ground. I'm not in perfect shape or anything but can do long walks with no issue, but goddamn I got my ass kicked climbing some cliffs on vacation. Drinking more water. This is literally the best possible answer. I had to scroll pretty far to find it. If you set yourself aside about 100-160 ounces of water and make sure half of it is drank by lunch, you will lose weight guaranteed. Not only is it better for you to stay hydrated, it decreases your unnecessary appetite and improves your overall health. It's also cheap as hell to do. Laziest physically was eating less and cutting out junk. Mentally it was torture, which made me realize this shit is basically drugs. Depression. Oats, bananas, beans and rice. Rinse and repeat. Stop drinking sweet tea. I had to find the appropriate minimum sweetness level, AMSL. I'd make a gallon pitcher, pour in a cup of sugar, major sweetness. Then next pitcher, I'd add 3/4 cup sugar, then did 2/3 cup, then 1 to cup. Found that I could use 1 to cup and enjoy it the same as the full cup, so I effectively cut my sugar intake from sweet tea in half. Edit. Yes, I did a 1/3 cup, and it sucked. That's how I knew 1/2 was best.